Bob's Car Studio is a small motor vehicle repair business. Smooth Drive manufactures motor vehicles and wants to engage Bob's Car Studio to be one of its authorised repairers, and proposes Bob's Car Studio repairs its motor vehicles for customers claiming under Smooth Drive's manufacturer's warranty, and Bob's Car Studio will charge Smooth Drive for its labour and parts. Smooth Drive sends through its standard authorised repairer agreement, which Bob's Car Studio signs. The agreement has an initial term of 3 years, which automatically renews for rolling 3-year periods unless Bob's Car Studio terminates the agreement at least 120 days before any renewal period. After nearly 3 years under the agreement, another motor vehicle manufacturer, Fonda, approaches Bob's Car Studio. Fonda offers Bob's Car Studio more work and a better labour rate. Bob's Car Studio accepts the opportunity and gives notice to Smooth Drive that it will terminate its agreement with them. Bob's Car Studio is unaware of the automatic renewal clause and, aside from a signed copy of the agreement, has never received notice about renewal dates. Bob's Car Studio gives Smooth Drive notice 20 days before the initial 3-year term ends. Smooth Drive responds to Bob's Car Studio, advising the notice is invalid and that the agreement will roll over after the 3rd year for another 3 years. After some negotiation, Smooth Drive explains it doesn't have another repairer lined up, and that's why it requires 120 days notice, then threatens to sue Bob's Car Studio if it pulls out of the contract.
The automatic renewal clause is likely to be an unfair contract term. The factors which support this are that the length of the renewal term and the initial term are the same. Smooth Drive has not been required to notify Bob's Car Studio about upcoming renewals, and that the length of the required notice period is 1/3 of the renewal term. Steve owns Bodyworks, a small body repair business in Adelaide. Steve requires a range of equipment and products to run his business, including auto paint products. While Steve usually purchases auto paint from a range of different suppliers, he looks to develop an ongoing arrangement with a reputable supplier, so he can use the supplier's name and product brand names in his advertising. After some research, Steve chooses Da Vinci, a leading supplier of Dali brand auto paints, which are recognised as being the best. Da Vinci tells Steve it can offer a competitive unit price if Bodyworks signs a 3-year agreement with minimum volume requirements based on Steve's forecasted needs. Steve likes the deal and signs the contract without reading the terms and conditions in Da Vinci's standard supply agreement. After 12 months, Bodyworks is doing better because of the relationship with Da Vinci, and the supply arrangement has been mutually beneficial. Then, to his disappointment, Steve opens the latest Da Vinci order, and instead of the usual Dali paints, sees tins of Monet brand paints, which he knows are of inferior quality. Steve calls Da Vinci, reporting the issue, which he assumes is a shipping mistake. Unfortunately, Da Vinci advises Steve it no longer stocks Dali paints, and as of last week, Da Vinci will substitute all Dali paint orders with Monet paints. Steve protests, noting Monet paint's horrible reputation, but Da Vinci directs Steve to their agreement, which allows Da Vinci to substitute paint orders for any other paint brand at any time during the agreement, at its discretion and without notice. Steve realises he's locked in for 2 more years with minimum volume requirements to purchase second-rate paints. While Bodyworks can terminate the agreement for Da Vinci's breach, there are no other termination rights available to Bodyworks.
The clause allowing Da Vinci's to substitute the paints is likely to be an unfair contract term, as it allows Da Vinci to vary the characteristics of the paint supplied under the agreement without giving Bodyworks any corresponding right or benefit in return. While Bodyworks will still get the quantity of painted orders, its reputation will probably suffer because of selling low-quality paint, leading to a loss of business and financial detriment. Bodyworks will also have to remove the paint brand name from its advertising, which it used as a selling point, inevitably leading to a loss of business and further financial detriment. Elliot and his wife recently started a new landscaping business, Elite Landscapers, which specialises in beachside golf course landscaping and ground care. Elliot's established Elite Landscapers due to his close affiliation with the Seaside Golf Club and has grown to include another 3 beachside golf courses as part of its client base. With the increased amount of landscaping work involved, Elliot decides it's time to upgrade his commercial mowers and purchases a fleet of fairway mowers and ride-on greens mowers, then hires someone to provide routine servicing. Elliot settles on Peter Duggan, a leading farm and industrial machinery supplier who can provide ongoing servicing for a fair price. Elliot receives a quote to sign with a tedious set of standard terms and conditions attached to the back, which he ignores. However, he reads and accepts the quote, which states a 1-year term. After almost a year with Peter Duggan, Elliot decides he isn't happy with the service he receives and talks to a new provider, Tim's Mowing, that can do a better deal with more inclusions. Elliot enters into an agreement with Tim's Mowing to take effect a few days after the agreement with Peter Duggan ends and emails Peter Duggan asking for any outstanding invoices he needs to pay before the agreement expires the following week. Peter Duggan responds, advising the agreement is not due to expire for another year, given the auto-renewal clause in the standard terms and conditions that has taken effect. Elliot calls Peter Duggan, who advises that, as he did not receive notice from Elite Landscaping to cancel at least 30 days before the end of the 1-year term, the contract is rolled over for a new 1-year term. When Elliot asked why Peter Duggan didn't make him aware of this, Peter Duggan advised under his standard terms and conditions, he's not required to give customers notice of upcoming renewal dates. Elliot realises he's now locked in with not 1 but 2 providers for the next year.
In these circumstances, the automatic renewal clause is likely to be an unfair contract term. The factors which support this are the length of the renewal term being the same as the initial term, and that Peter Duggan was not required to notify Elite Landscaping about any upcoming renewals. It is unlikely Peter Duggan will show the auto-renewal clause is reasonably necessary to protect its legitimate interests, given it's the larger entity with a number of customers under auto-renewal contracts and is therefore in a better position to track upcoming renewal dates than its small business customers. Fran runs a small business reconditioning engines for vans and trucks. Fran's business has recently landed a big job with a large used car dealer, Murray Motors, providing vehicle repairs at the dealership to prepare them for sale. To complete the job, Fran entered into an agreement with Murray Motors that was subject to their standard purchase terms and conditions, which Fran neglected to read. One day, Fran receives a scary-looking letter from the business requesting $12,500 from Fran's business to indemnify Murray Motors in relation to a customer claim it has settled. The letter details a claim brought against Murray Motors for breach of contract because of the car's poor performance. Murray Motors refers to an indemnity in the agreement with Fran's business, which requires Fran's business to indemnify Murray Motors for any loss or liability arising in connection with the agreement. Fran checks the agreement and identifies the indemnity clause. She sees Murray Motors has an indemnity clause in its favour, but her business does not have any similar right, and there is nothing to limit her liability under the indemnity clause. Fran believes the fault with the car has nothing to do with her work, reconditioning the engine, but with other issues she noticed when conducting repairs, and recommended Murray Motors fix by using a general auto repairer. The
one-sided indemnity clause is likely to be an unfair contract term. This is because it requires Fran's business to indemnify Murray Motors for any loss or liability arising in connection with the agreement, even where such loss or liability has not been caused or contributed by Fran's business or could have been avoided or mitigated by Murray Motors. Further, there is no corresponding right or benefit given to Fran's business under the agreement, such as a carve-out to the indemnity to reduce the liability of Fran's business to the extent the loss or liability was caused by Murray Motors. Ollie recently purchased a second-hand car from a family friend, and although it's in good condition, the tyres need replacement. Ollie is very money conscious and wants to save on costs wherever possible. Ollie decides, instead of purchasing brand new tyres, he will purchase second-hand tyres and engages a local business, Tyre Traders, to supply and fit second-hand tyres onto his car. Tyre Traders provides Ollie with a great price for the job, and Ollie signs the Tyre Traders quote attaching Tyre Traders standard terms and conditions. Ollie doesn't read the terms and conditions as they are long and in tiny print. The terms and conditions state Tyre Traders may increase the price between the order date and the payment date to account for any increase in cost incurred by Tyre Traders. When Ollie returns to Tyre Traders to collect his car with the 4 new reconditioned tyres, the price on the bill, which is $250 more than quoted, shocks him. Tyre Traders advises it overbooked its technician on Friday, so they had to work on Saturday to complete the job, which cost Tyre Traders in overtime. They tell Ollie that, as is their right under the standard terms and conditions, they have passed on this additional cost to him. Ollie is disappointed he is responsible for this cost despite not causing it, particularly considering there was no rush to complete the job by the estimated date written in the quote.
The price variation clause is likely to be an unfair contract term. This is because it creates a significant imbalance in the rights of Tyre Traders and Ollie under the agreement, giving Tyre Traders the right to unilaterally increase the price, but no corresponding right or benefit to Ollie, such as the right to provide consent for any such increases or to exit the agreement. The lack of transparency of the price variation clause is also relevant considering the size of the document and that it was printed in small font.